As a typical Urhobo lady in the diaspora, all I wanted, guys, was a taste of home. I craved for this. Banga soup on the throne and starch by her side. But somehow, the starch decided to stage a coup. I should have known. I should have known it was over when the starch started to clump like those WhatsApp group chat drama. I disrespected the rhythm, and the rhythm clapped back real hard. This is not just a food story, it's a starch betrayal. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with the full gist of how this starch turned me on. In every Urhobo household, whether in the heart of Delta State, Nigeria, or across the oceans in a British Urhobo household, there is a reverend, an unspoken code. You do not play with banga and starch. This is not quick fix Tuesday dinner. No, it's not a let's see what I can whip up kind of moment. It is a ceremony, a calling, a reminder that food in my Urhobo culture is not simply eaten, it is remembered. Before I get to the chaos, let's rewind a bit. Banga soup, known as Owoamiedi among the Urhobo people, is more than just a dish. It's a cultural heirloom. Originating from Delta State in southern Nigeria, Banga soup is made from the extract of palm nuts, seasoned with indigenous spices, and traditionally paired with starch. We call it usi. This is a golden stretchy side made from cassava and palm oil. Growing up, I watched my beautiful mother swirl starch like a sacred dance. She didn't measure, she knew the exact amount of everything. And my mother's banga soup was not just cooked, it was summoned. A few days ago, I was hungry, but not just for food. I was hungry for that homesick in your chest kind of craving. So I decided to make banga soup and starch. Since I was feeling myself so much, I poured myself a glass of rosé. Let me just say this proudly, I got the banga right. So I put my ingredients together. So I had my dry fish, I had my crayfish, periwinkle, dried pepper, and the most important ingredient is the palm nut base. I cooked my meat. This was the boneless cow foot, the beef, the pomo, and roasted turkey. I also cleaned out some freshwater fish as I needed that fresh fish flavor in the banga soup. I gave the pot of meat a thorough stir just to make sure everything is done and even. Then I added my periwinkle, the dried catfish, a pot of chicken stock, and some generous scoops of crayfish. I added my trusted blend of banga soup spices, including the famous utaiko, urogoje, and obenotiete leaves, all the way from Warri, Delta State. I gave it another thorough stir just to make sure all the ingredients are mixed together in the sauce. So it was time to add the palm fruit extract. I got myself 2 tinned extract because I wanted it to be thick and I wanted it to have that heavy nostalgic feeling and texture. So I had my palm fruit extract in 2 tins. Reason why they're in a tin is because these are protected and preserved palm fruit extracts. For those of us who are unable to gain access to the organic ones in the farms, we make do with what we have. So long as it serves the same purpose, that's all that matters. I mixed everything and the aroma was heavenly. It was heavy with nostalgia, and the soup, oh my goodness, it thickened and glistened like I always wanted it. So I gave the soup another thorough stir just to make sure we have that even distribution of flavor and texture. So I let the soup boil up. Just look at that golden pot of soup. That is a pot of treasure. I gave it another stir to make sure all my flavor goes round the meat, the fish, the spices, and everything else in the pot of soup. So finally, it was time to put the last ingredient, the freshwater fish. This is usually the last thing you put in your pot of banga soup, just to make sure you preserve it whole, because if you put it too early, it's gonna break. You're not gonna enjoy it. So it's just best to leave it last and put it last and just let the steam heat it up and get it cooked for you. If the story ended here, I'll be a kitchen goddess. But then the starch decided to mess me up. Gorgeous Pola. Now starch be this, I been a robber. You think something with only 2 ingredients, cassava starch and palm oil, will be foolproof, right? But no. Starch has attitude. Starch has mood swings. And that day, my starch had other plans. I heated the oil, poured in the powder, and began to stir. Immediately, something felt off. The starch thickened too quickly and clumped without mercy. I tried to adjust the heat. I tried to stir with urgency. I whisked like my mortgage was due. But the lumps came like uninvited guests, one after the other, relentless. It looked less like food to me. This felt like a failed art project. I paused. I had a sip of my rosé just to calm the nerves. My ancestors paused as well, I guess. Even the soup paused, as if to say, we don't know this Urhobo girl. Now here's the thing. I could have started again. I could have tossed it and ordered Chinese, because I don't have time for all of this waste. But something in me, probably pride, maybe hunger, decided to continue. So I continued. I plated it anyway. The banga was looking too glorious. The starch, unapologetically stubborn. I took a bite, chewed through resistance, swallowed with honor. And you know what? It still slapped. Not because the starch redeemed itself. No, not at all. The starch showed me shege. But because the soup carried it like that friend who hypes you up even when your outfit's not giving, they're hyping you up. That's what happened. Sometimes flavor overrides form. That day it had to. As I sat with my plate of chaos and triumph, I started thinking, why was I so desperate to get this right? Because I wasn't just cooking, I was remembering. I was reaching back across generations, languages, villages, and Sundays spent around smoky pots and plastic chairs. And there, somewhere between the lumps and the perfection, I saw something beautiful. Me, trying, failing, and trying again. Legacy doesn't always land smooth. Sometimes it shows up in the lumps. Later that evening, I called my big sister, told her what happened, and she laughed. And then she paused and said, next time, don't stir that starch like you're chasing demons. Starch is not a fight, it's a rhythm. That stuck with me. Cooking Urhobo dishes isn't just a skill, it's a language. And I'm still learning to speak it fluently. Mistakes and all. So if you ever ruin a dish rooted in heritage, don't panic. Take a bite, laugh through the chew, and promise to do better for yourself and for the culture, because even a failed starch can carry the taste of home. So what have we learned today? Don't rush the starch, and never underestimate the power of a good soup to save a not so good situation. If you've ever had a kitchen flop, a stubborn recipe, or a meal that humbled you like this starch, welcome, you're among royalty. Hit that like button if you've ever eaten your mistake with pride. Subscribe for more stories where the food is real, the memories are rich, and the narrator is still recovering from starch trauma. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay with grace. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now. It's gorgeous, Bola.